Hello, and I hope you're enjoying this Interact conference. My name is Helen. I'm the chair at the VSM Management Consortium, and today I'm going to be talking about value stream management's impact on high performance. Probably need to think about what value stream management is before we get kicked off. Many of you, I'm sure, are very familiar with value stream mapping, and you can think of that as one of the value stream management practices. This is actually an implementation roadmap for value stream management. You start with the vision, setting your long-term vision and goals, and you can start wherever you are. So if you haven't done value stream mapping before, that's fine. If you're early on your DevOps journey, that's also fine. If you are some way into your DevOps journey and maybe have product teams and some multifunctional autonomous teams set up, you can also start there, wherever you are. The first thing you need to do is identify your value streams, and a value stream is anything that delivers a product or a service, so anything that has a customer. Then you need to organize around it. This doesn't mean that you need to do a large-scale reorganization of your company. You can just start identifying the people that are involved in each step of your value stream and start working that way. Then it's good to do some mapping and get those humans together in a space and start thinking about what those steps are in the value stream and how they connect to each other and where you're seeing waste and can make improvements. Then you can connect your value stream using your DevOps toolchain. So you'll have the various pieces in your DevOps toolchain from ideas, so from planning through CI and CD into deployment to live, and then into the service and support of your product, receiving feedback that you can feed back into planning. Automating your value stream map in this way, using a value stream management platform, gives you the opportunity to continuously inspect and adapt according to the data that you are collecting. So you don't just do inspection and adaptation once. You can do it whenever you like, perhaps in your sprint events, like in your sprint planning and sprint review and retrospectives. You can start using those insights to design experiments that will help you move forward. So that's an implementation roadmap. Let's think about where VSM's come from. Well, it's got its roots in Lean, which of course is way older than you might think. Going all the way back to Charles Knuppel, started talking about how we need to visualize our work. And then, of course, TPS and Toyota Production System, very much leading up to the emergence of the information and materials flow, which led to value stream mapping, particularly in the manufacturing industry. And then we had various works that taught us how to apply those learnings to other industries, and then in particular in the Lean IT Field Guide into our digital value streams. Other important works, the great transition from James Martin, started talking about where we're moving from one way of working to another and start to outline value stream management. And then we started to see some other books coming out and other work that explained the difference between mapping and management and how to use it. But again, particularly in the manufacturing industry. The internet, of course, happened as well, and this is where our digital value stream started to appear. And in 2018, we had the first Forrester Wave on a value stream management report that was published, and we founded the Value Stream Management Consortium in March of this year in 2021. So that Forrester report gave us a different definition of value stream management that we'd had before. It says it's a combination of people, process, and technology that maps, optimizes, visualizes, measures, and governs business value flow through heterogeneous software delivery pipelines from idea through development and into production. So this is a new phase of value stream management that is particularly focused on digital value streams. You can see mapping, as we just discovered, one element of what we're doing in there, and you'll see the mention of both technology and heterogeneous software delivery pipelines. So these DevOps tool chains that we've been building over the last few years have become really critical to the way that we can value stream manage these days. Well, why do we want to do this? Well, if we're doing value stream management, we're optimizing our flow and the realization of our value to our customers. If we do that, we get sublime customer experience. If we've got very happy or delighted customers, we do get higher organizational performance. You'll see there that I mentioned flow and realization. This to me is a real duality that underpins what we're doing in value stream management. We're accelerating our flow of the value to our customers, and we're also working out what we're really getting it from it, what that customer experience looks like. So you can think of flow as the outputs of your value stream. Also, very important indicators on your value stream health. So looking at the speed of that flow, that's your cycle time, your lead time, You'll understand more about how to improve getting things to your customer for them to experience. So how frequently you deliver or deploy, understanding where that waste is in your value stream so that you can further optimize flow, and also understanding the different types of work you might be doing. So are you working on innovating new features, or are you paying down technical debt, or are you hamstrung by lots of unplanned work? We really want that to be friction-free, and we want a continuous and steady stream of value being delivered to your customer. So that's all great, but how do we know that the customer experience is actually optimal and that they're finding what you're giving them useful, that they're having an anticipated outcome? Well, this is about the fulfillment of your desired outcomes. So here we need to know things about whether customers are actively using the capability that you've provided them with. We need to know things about like how often you're getting new customers, how they describe their experience, and importantly, how financially healthy your value stream is. There is a scenario where we can put lots and lots of outcomes and value to our customers who are hugely delighted and having a great experience, but we haven't got our business model quite right and we're losing money. So we do need to balance those two things. So this is the State of Value Stream Management report. This is our inaugural report and research that the Value Stream Management Consortium delivered in July of this year, 2021. And we learned a number of things. On the left here, what you're seeing is that we found data from our respondents that indicated that higher performing organisations are more likely to be using value stream management practices. The 4 that you see listed here are doing that value stream mapping. Also, how they're measuring their value and their flow and those outcomes. So all these things we were just talking about. So you can see the top performers leading in all of those categories there. We also found that different types of teams are more likely to use different types of metrics. So what you're seeing here is our value stream teams, and you could read product team or feature team there as well, or stream aligned team if you're working with Matthew Skelton and Manuel Pace's team topologies definitions. You can see here those orange teams, again, more likely to be using these flow metrics. So things like our cycle time, our throughput, our work in progress, our code quality, our efficiency, our defect distribution, and our flow distribution, and these other ones on here. Interestingly, these ones down here, didn't really find people using those ones this time around. Might be different in 2022. So who is VSM for? So this is a conversation that we have quite a lot, whether it's for small companies or large companies. So first of all, Gartner said in one of their 2022 reports that by 2023, 70% of organisations will use value stream management to improve flow in their DevOps pipeline, leading to the faster delivery of customer value. So who's it for? Is it for very large organisations that have maybe been on a DevOps journey or trying to transition from waterfall to agile? Or is it for the newer type of organisations that have perhaps launched with smaller, more multifunctional, autonomous teams already practising agile, born on the web? Well, let's think about what you want to do, first of all, as a business, and then that will probably answer this question. So that duality I talked about earlier, flow and realization. If you want to know things like how long it's taking you to deliver value to your customers, and you actually probably want to accelerate or at least optimize that, if you want to know where your waste is, have insights into where constraints are, delays are, bottlenecks, waste, where you can optimize your value stream, and you want to collaborate end to end on your product lifecycle, so from idea all the way through to value realization, and have data or even insight-driven conversations about how your business is operating, how your product or service is operating, and be able to trace work items as they travel through your DevOps toolchain, then you're probably interested in value stream management. And all of those are likely to apply to small businesses as well as larger, more established enterprises. With realization, if you want to be able to estimate what your work is actually going to deliver in terms of a value outcome for your customer and build hypotheses around that, and then understand what actually happened once you went live, then this is also of interest to you. Similarly, if you want to follow the second way of DevOps and amplify and shorten those feedback loops so that you're able to optimize and prioritize your product backlog moving forward most effectively, this is also for you, helping you make you better informed business decisions and overall maximize your value stream's profitability. So back to the State of Value Stream Management reports, I mentioned flagship research published by the Value Stream Management Consortium in July 2021. We learned a couple of other things around whether people are using value stream mapping or not, and how this impacts their ability to inspect flow. So what you can see is nearly 90% of people that practice value stream mapping do inspect flow, but 80% of those that don't do value stream mapping don't inspect flow. So these two concepts are very, very tightly connected. So people that don't and haven't experienced value stream mapping do not know how long it takes them to deliver value to the customer. They don't measure it. You can see just under 40% have automated the collection process and 20% continuously. We have the data available. It's in our DevOps toolchain if we built them, so we don't need to do this manually, which is very onerous and time consuming and makes it very difficult for us to inspect regularly in order to improve. I just wanted to say a few things about the origins of the Value Stream Management Consortium here as well. As I said, we launched in March of this year, 2021. We are a not-for-profit trade association. We are funded by our members. We have a number of different member types: leader, partner, and influencer. And our founding members were 5 of the key vendors in the value stream management space. So people like HCL Software, ServiceNow, Plutora, TaskTop, and Digital.ai were our 5 founding members. And we are collecting more members, happy to say, as we go along. And these people are enabling us to fund things like this research, which we share with the community to help everybody improve how they do work and the performance of their organisation. Everybody that's involved with the Value Stream Management Consortium feels passionately that value stream management has the potential to unlock a lot of the problems that we're seeing with transitions at the moment, particularly where DevOps implementations, for instance, are getting stuck. We see it as the key to helping us reach Carlotta Perez's future of work, where we're in a golden age and we are able to reach the next level of global prosperity. Other things that we discovered in the report, and please do take the time to read the report. You can reach it at www.vsmconsortium.org/research. That link will be at the end of the presentation as well. You'll see that there's 3 main parts to the report. There is one where we investigated how people are organising around value streams. So whether people are identifying and explicitly naming value streams themselves and working within them and being associated with them, whether people have roles that are particularly assigned to value streams as well. So things like value stream architect, for example. The second part of the report was all about the flow, and the third part of the report was, of course, about realization. So in the flow section, one of the other things that we asked about is where people obtain data about their value flow. So this is about getting visibility into the value stream in order to be able to have those data-driven conversations. And what you're seeing here is that people have aggregated from several sources, they've integrated tools themselves, they've maybe built tools, or they're doing manual collection. Where we really want to help people get to is the 3.7% probably there, or maybe the 6.0%, so the open source or the bought tools, but the single tools. We'll always have conversations in the industry about open source versus tools that have license costs behind them. Of course, there are 2 different models. With the ones where you're paying a company to do their research and development, you get a different style of license agreement and support mechanism. You may also see additional features that you might not see initially in open source, things like AI, for example. Other things that we know about, thanks to the report, are things like how people automate insights into their value realization. So what we wanted to really know is whether people were trying to see what actual value were realized by these new features that they were putting into their product. Traditionally, with project-based development, what we've seen is people having very lengthy engagements, projects, where they get to the end, it's very stressful. They may have had to move the live date, or they may have had to work extremely hard to get to a live date. And then typically after the project has landed, maybe after warranty period, a team is disbanded. And we're very poor generally as going back to check whether we achieved what we set out to do. which isn't very helpful when we're trying to decide what to do next. So value stream management at the core of it is trying to close that cycle, so trying to ensure that we get that feedback and that learning from the value outcomes we've desired to deliver to our customers and pushing that back into our backlog and our next increments of work. So when we asked people if they actually measured the actual value realised by new features in their product, only 6.4% said often. Always. Only 21.9% said often. So we really can probably improve this. So 71.7% were not really measuring the value realised. Those people that said they did, when we asked them when they did it, we had 12.7% that were able to say they were able to do it continually and that it's instrumented into the product or platform. Like all state of reports, one of the primary things that we're doing this report for is to try and understand how the industry is improving over time and how we are supporting the community in adopting these new ways of working, which are showing that they lead to higher performing organisations. There are some interesting other pieces here as well. At the end of the experiment is probably an acceptable answer as well, particularly if we're doing hypothesis-driven development. At the end of the sprint's not too bad. At the end of the project is not great. After push to live isn't that great either, because we can't really tell whether the customer's responding to it often that quickly. It takes a little bit of time for us to know that customers are using it and to extract the feedback from them, which is quite often in the form of things like unstructured data or things like reviews and referrals. In the value stream management report, you'll find more detail on that. In terms of what these different customer experience metrics might look like. We'll come to them again in a moment as well. We also had a look about, in the organisational section and in the value realisation section, about these structures within an organisation and who people are reporting to. Of course, one of the big things that's driving DevOps adoption and cloud adoption is digital transformation. We're in the world of the internet, as we established earlier, and this means organisations all over the globe have had to adopt different working practices. And also fundamental to that is the way that people think of themselves. So as andRealization said very famously, software has eaten the world. It's probably eaten the world now. And that means all companies, whether they just make software or they make sneakers, perhaps for Americans, or other physical products, they all need to think about technology as a key enabler, perhaps go as far as to say they're a technology company or a technology-driven company. There are lots of examples of this. Domino Pizza said that, Alaska Airways said they're a technology company with wings. There's many examples of people that have really prioritised technology, and this means that there is a change in that the technology teams are no longer subservient to the business. They're no longer order takers. They are strategic drivers. So when we ask this question, to whom does your team report to about value in the product? The actual answer we think is the strongest is the one that hit 4.3%, that dark green. We don't report to anyone because the data is for our own decision making. This would indicate to us that these teams have been structured in a way that they had autonomy and were empowered to make their own decisions and own their value stream and the profit and loss around that. We did ask people which sort of value stream metrics they were measuring, and what we found was this. We had a lot over in this area. 28.3% were measuring revenue and sales and profit margin. So cash, which seems on the face of it to be useful, but it's more of a business metric and less of a customer experience metric. So these other metrics, like things like the conversion rate, visitors, reviews, referrals, and NPS, get very interesting. I'm going to talk about some training in a minute. And in the training, we go into quite some detail about how these metrics here, the revenue and sales and the profit margin, are lagging metrics. And what we find useful is to obviously have leading metrics as well. And this is where our reviews and referrals can really come into play. NPS is pretty popular. A lot of people know about it. There is quite a lot of controversy around NPS at the moment, particularly in the B2B sector. So perhaps reviews and referrals would be more useful. We also have a number of more technical metrics that we're learning to get at. So maybe think about using systems like AI Ops or real user monitoring or end user monitoring. or other ways of actually understanding real time what's happening, what your customers are doing when they're interacting with your site or your product or service or value stream. So I mentioned earlier learning. We have this week launched our VSM Foundation Course, our Value Stream Management Foundation Course. This is our first piece of learning from the Value Stream Management Consortium. We have an 8-hour recorded version of the course online, which is available now and free to all members. We are also providing a certification in partnership with our partner member, DevOps Institute, and all members will get a discount to that certification depending on their membership level. The course has 8 modules in it. The first module is all about the history and evolution of value stream management and value stream mapping a bit as well. And then talking about how to identify value streams, so what they are, and then looking at that process of mapping a value stream, how to connect your DevOps toolchain in a way that you can then extract the data to automate your value stream map in order to inspect and adapt accordingly. In our 5th module, we look at the value stream metrics. So we look at things like flow metrics, we look at DORA metrics, we look at the Gartner set of metrics as well. And we split those into flow and value realization in quite some detail, just giving you a tiny taste today. And we look at inspecting the value stream. So how do you actually do that? When do you do it? What are you looking for? And then we look at how to organize as value streams and look at emerging roles like CVO, the Chief Value Officer, and VSA, the Value Stream Architect, flow engineers. We look at some of the new roles that are emerging from this space and how to move from existing roles that you might have like CFO or product owner or Scrum Master into one of these newer roles. And then the final module, module 8, is about evolving value streams, so how to work on continually optimizing those value streams as you move forward on your value stream management journey. The report itself that I talked about, our research, finishes with some guidance. Here is the summary. Essentially, what we're saying is that our research, as well as our fellow research analysts, are showing that the time really is now to do value stream management. You can start, as I said right at the start of this presentation, wherever you are. Some of our colleagues in the research analysts, such as Helen Ehrlich from Research in Action, has very explicitly stated that value stream management is a must-have, not a nice-to-have, if you want to compete as you move forward. So you do need to adopt and disrupt. We have identified value stream management as the next generation of DevOps, and it's determining the winners and losers in these digitally disrupted markets. So now is the time to implement these ways of working and leverage those available automation platforms that give you real-time, instant data and insights to tell you how your business is operating, how you can improve. Of course, there's always a challenge in adopting anything new and changing, in that you're also busy doing your business as usual. So we do need to encourage you to make time to save time. You will have to probably justify to yourselves and your colleagues about why you're stopping doing work on other things. Of course, the answer is because you're going to improve later. So whilst you may slow down now, you're going to go fast later. Slow down to go faster. You need to learn how to map and how to connect those DevOps tool chains. So learning, as with DevOps, is key to all of this. You need to aim to be a dynamic learning organization. So we have that course available to get you started. The foundation course, you can download the course description, which includes all of the people that we think will be interested in this course, which is all leaders, change agents, anybody involved in any part of a value stream. And then you can model your implementation. So go further than value stream mapping and aim for that continuous inspection and adaptation once you've got your baseline state. And you can use other techniques like dependency mapping and outcome mapping to drive your vision and unpack what's in the way. And finally, we do have more and more AI and observability capability coming down the line. And this is going to be really important as you feel and see your immense amounts of data improving or growing. So we all have cognitive load limits as users and as people. So what we really need to do is turn our machines back on themselves and use them to help us get that insight into the data so that we can action it and make that data useful. Thank you very much for listening to me today. I hope you're really enjoying the event. Do follow us. We are on Twitter and LinkedIn, and you can download the State of Value Stream Management Report 2021 at vsmconsortium.org/research, where you will also find our links to our membership and enable you to connect and get onto our Value Stream Management Foundation course. Thank you so much for your time today.